Welcome, friends. Welcome. 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 Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, everyone. Hey, it's Luke here. Hi. Hi. Welcome along to a very, very special edition of Gothic Ghost Stories. We are raising money for Mind, an amazing mental health charity, with this live stream. Or should I say, we've already raised an immense amount of money. I set a target for this stream of £250 because I thought I would be so chuffed if reading a ghost story on a live stream on YouTube could raise that much money for an incredible mental health charity. But astoundingly, before I even did anything, the total now stands at, it's going up all the time. So I'm going to let me check it for an up-to-date figure. £2,454, which is absolutely mind-blowing. I'm staggered by all of your generosity. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I've had to move the goalposts of this fundraising effort many times. So I've just hiked it up to £3,000. I guess. I don't know. So maybe that is doable. I can see loads of familiar names in the chat. It's lovely to see you all. I can see Ellen as well is in the chat. Hey, Ellen. Ghost Luke, she says. Hey, Ellen, good to have you along. And I can see Dan, Andy Hoyle, loads of friends of the channel. Let's do some housekeeping. Oh my goodness, my mind's all over the place. But let's do a little housekeeping. We are going to be reading The Yellow Wallpaper today, which is an extremely iconic and unbelievably good short horror story by Charlotte Perkins Gilman. Little bit about the author. Charlotte Perkins Gilman was born 1860, died 1935. She was a utopian feminist, which is just about the most badass combination of two words I think you can imagine. And she's best remembered for the story that we're going to read today, which was written after a bout of postpartum psychosis that she suffered. And it is an incredibly good story. I would love to try and concisely sum up why it's so good. But to be honest, I already tried to do that with some of the stream promo stuff, so I might just read from that because I did take time to write that. So there we go. Charlotte Perkins Gilman's The Yellow Wallpaper was published in 1892. It is a masterpiece of horror fiction and an important work of feminist literature. The story is brief, but captures attitudes to women's physical and mental health in the 19th century so frightening that, frankly, it doesn't matter if the spectre in the wallpaper is real or not. Although I do want to hear everyone's theories regarding the nature of the story. 128 years later, the story's themes of obsession and overthinking resonate hard. They resonated very hard for me when I read this story for the first time. And in a time when there is still a lot of work to be done around understanding and normalizing mental health, I thought that this would be a great opportunity because I wanted to read the story for a long time, but I wanted to make it a bit special, do it as a fundraiser. So if you're able, do donate to the Mind. If you are to Mind, a brilliant mental health charity. And if you are looking for the link, it's in the description to the fundraising page. Here's how this is going to work. The story, as I say, is quite short. There are some natural breaks in the story, so I will be taking little breaks as we go through, just to sort of check in with the chat, to sort of read some of the messages that come in with donations, because that feels like the right thing to do. And actually, I mean, so many have come in like already that I do just want to like try and read out a few, just try and get a few shout outs in for some of the incredible generosity that has been on show. Lindsay Langdon was the very first to hit up that Just Giving page. I think before I'd even tweeted the link, which was amazingly on it. You do so much for us, Luke. Thank you very much. And that's $100 Canadian donation, which is so generous. Thank you, Lindsay. Gentle Mandrill says, thank you for your hard work, for keeping us sane during these harsh times. You made quarantine and the whole mess a lot more bearable with a £100 donation. Thank you, Gentle Mandrill. £20 here from Anonymous. Dave McKay says, great cause. Nice work, Luke. Thanks, Dave. John Burnham, very generous. £250. That is so generous, John. It says, an excellent cause that deserves all the support it can get. Thanks to all who are helping others through these difficult times. Royce LeBlanc donates and says, to anyone who reads this, you're a beautiful person, which is nice. Katie B says, thank you for all you do, Mr. Westaway. So formal, but I'm kind of into it. You are so appreciated by me and many others. This is a wonderful charity and I'm happy to support it. Thank you, Katie B. Athena the Wild donated as well. Phil Tyler. Ash F says, as important a cause as I can imagine, now more than ever. You and your chums have done more than a little to help me navigate my own stuff this year. Thank you. Thank you, Ashef. Thank you for donating. Liam says, I can't run the office charity events for Halloween, but I can do this. I read that in a Samwise Gamgee voice. I can't carry it for you, but I can carry you. Barry Bumble Crumpet says, spooky charity is the best kind of charity. I completely agree. Hannah Weber says, happy to contribute to such a good cause. Thank you very much. Dan Long, good to see you, Dan, says, terrifying tale, a wonderful reader. And a hugely important charity. Good luck, Luke, and thank you for championing awareness of mental health issues. Much love from the Long family. Wayward Kitten says, thank you for making this horrible year a bit more bearable. You and the chat have distracted me from worry and loneliness more than once. Katie says, thank you, Luke, for organising these donations. Such a great cause. Thank you, Katie. Eloise, thank you very much for your donation. Eloise says, thank you, Luke, and thank you, Mind. Emily says, I love this charity. Thank you so much for supporting it. Jenny says, Spooky Story Book Club has been a massive help through 2020. Really looking forward to this one. Thank you, Jenny. Emily Luffman says, goodness knows mental health charities need all the help we can give nowadays. Completely agree. Thank you very much for your donations. Lizzie Isles, Ileki, Joanna, Katie Fruin. Richard Blair says, this story showed me a lot about attitudes towards mental health, and despite how old it is, we still have some way to go. I completely agree, Richard. But yeah, thank you so much for your donation. You're helping. Charles Snow says, stay strong. Even when it doesn't feel like there is anything left to fight for, there is. You're not less of a person for letting yourself get overwhelmed. Breathe through it and come back stronger. Great advice there from Charles Snow. Thank you. Dan Genders, thank you very much. Sophie Dobby. Liam Duke. O_T4NG. Giacomo Montanari. Shy Violet. Always good to hear from you, Shy Violet. Thank you very much for the donation. Irritating 105. Orangeful. 50 versus the world says hashtag be a dob. Kyle Bover. There's so many of these. Peter Gleve, thank you very much. Anja, Coe, oh wow, Godsey. Cara Dennison, thank you, Cara. Carrie and Bill, thank you. Ian Aliff. Nimbletack, good to hear from you. Says thanks from a long time, OCD. This is fantastic stuff, and these stories have really kept me going through lockdown. That goal doesn't stand a chance against the Spooky Squad. Thanks very much. Oh, I've just got to a donation from Ellen Rose. Maybe you've heard of her. This story better not have any jump scares. Well, we should have done this in Fear Academy. Fear Academy over on Outside Extra. It should have just been me reading this scary story. Jem, thank you very much. Sam Foster, Jeremy, Alex Samara says mental health is health and mind helps people get the care they need. Thank you for all you do. Philip Ratkovich, Riku Solavori, Elisha Melia, Andrew D, MK's Crazy Brain, and Fancy Space Owl. Oh my goodness. And you know what? That's just the comments that I got to before I started the stream. And now that I hit refresh, I can see there are so many more. So thank you, everyone. This is incredible. Oh, wow. Okay. £3,576. Why not? Okay. Right. I'm going to have to... Okay, fine. Right. Well, fine. Fine. I'll move the goalposts. I'll move the goalposts. Don't think I won't keep moving the goalposts. We haven't even started the story. I do want to start reading the story. I'm aware that a lot of people are watching this, and I am here to deliver a spooky story, and I will get there. I will get there. But what am I to do? What am I to do when the goalposts need moving? What am I going to put this? Am I really going to put this to £4,000? I've clicked save. I've done it. You know what? If no more donations come in, that's cool. Like this has been absolutely astonishing. Angel Beat, thank you. Claire T Rex says, after the spooky story fun times that have kept us entertained during this weird year, this small donation is a small thanks. Excellent cause, and thank you. Thank you, Claire T Rex. Jane Cluett, thank you so much. Very, very flattering message there from Jane Cluett. Thank you so much. Says thank you for all the stories, Luke. Thank you, Angela Sanchez, who says mental health is more important than ever. This is just a little something from a proud member of the hashtag Spooky Sad Squad. Magdalena Lolas, thank you so much, everyone. Sinead O'Connor, Rhiannon, Rob C. Thank you, everyone, as well, like all the anonymous donors. You don't have to leave your name. I understand not everybody wants to. I appreciate you all the same, hugely. Donna Crozier, thank you. Brandon Key, I hope I pronounced that, pronounced that correctly. It says, Luke's videos have been consistently entertaining. I wish you all the best here with this charity. Thank you so much. Joel V, Beth, Kurt Conway. Oh, my goodness. Andrew Tung, Amy Louise, Thury, Jane, Elisha Melia, Growly. Surely at some point I'm going to get down to the donations I've already read. Growly says, like you, I've got OCD and other issues for many years. I've been as or more isolated than most people during the pandemic. I know how devastating mental issues can be. Thanks for doing this, Luke. You're so welcome, Growly. Thank you for the donation. Thank you, Nikki. Thank you, Jan Stenholt. Infolex Soror, Charlotte and Adam, Esme B, Holland Marie, thank you so much. Inzir, Manspider, and Matt, who says, I can't watch the stream but live tonight, but I'll catch up later. This is one of my favourite Victorian stories, and I can't wait to hear you read it with your amazing narration, Luke. I will really do my best. The pressure is on to deliver on this one. I will do my best. Ghost in the Hella, Whale Puck, Megan B, Arsaray, thank you so much. And Brianna. James, JP Tricks, Trelene, Alexis. Amazing. Okay, right. I will check back in. We will check back in. I'm going to do my best to read all of these donations. I'm sorry if I miss any, but hopefully you can understand that an awful lot are coming in. Right, let's talk about drinks. I'm drinking a rum and Diet Coke in the fancy goblet today. That's what I am imbibing. Let me know what you are. Let me know what you are. Let me know what you're sipping on. For this scariest of scary stories. Okay. Dare I begin? Should I refresh the Just Giving page before I do that? I'm gonna... Oh my god. £4,000. £4,026. Guys. You. Okay, right. Look, at this point, you're just harming yourselves because you're not gonna get this. I'm never gonna get to read story. Okay, fine. I'm putting it. What am I going to put up to? If I put it up, if I put it to 5, all right. Okay, just because I want it to take a little bit longer to hit this next goal. All right, I'll put it to 5. I'll put it to 5,000. There we go. Save. Right. Good. Now, okay. Joey Torres, thank you so much. Alex Fox. Wimpy Doodle, Rupert A, Rin, Lena L, Keith Maccabi, Andy and Katie and Toulouse, great to hear from you. Says good cause, good person. Georgie, thank you very much for your donation. That's so kind. Sally Jack Pumpkin King, thank you for your donation. Danny McNamara, Jordan D. Steer, Eloquence Winters, Eloquence Winters, what a fantastic username that is. Haley, thank you so much. Katie and Andy. Oh, Katie and Andy. Thank you. Melissa Caulfield says, "Hi Luke, I suffer from PTSD and a personality disorder. Your horror story videos have been one of the few things that help me sleep. Thank you to you and Ellen and the Oxbox crew. Thank you for your donation, Melissa. That is really appreciated." Laura Ann, Donna Mayock, Sean. Sean says it's not much, but hopefully will help out such a great charity. Sean, it's a huge thing to do. Anyone who's donated, no matter how much or little you are able to donate, it's a huge thing that you're doing. So thank you so much. Okay, right. I'm gonna cautiously give the page one more refresh. Oh my god. Okay, right. Okay. I'm going to start reading now. We will come back. We will. There are natural breaks in the story, as I say. Yeah. Oh, Monkeys Forever says Shan is pronounced Shan. Sorry if I mispronounced that. Apologies. Okay, right. I'm going to read a few more. Then we will read the story. I promise we're going to read the story. But although at this point, do I have to? It would have been real easy to just pop on Netflix tonight and to have raised a whole bunch of money. But like a hero, I will deliver on the promise. Sarah Burke says, "Thank you for everything you're doing to make life better for people who suffer from mental illnesses." I wish I could give more, Sarah Burke. Do not worry about it. That is so generous. Thank you. Antonio Garza says, "Thank you very much. Much love from Mexico." Lottie says, "As someone whose life has been completely changed by Mind, and someone who's just done a drama project based on the Yellow Wallpaper, I adore everything about this." Nick Jeffrey, thank you so much. Lawrence, Zoe, thank you for your donations. Derek L. 90s Pikachu says, "What a great way to honour the story, and lots of love to you, Luke." Thank you, 90s Pikachu. Probably the best era for Pikachu, if I'm being honest. Betsy Jinx says, "Happy to give to a great cause." Thank you, Betsy Jinx. Okay, right. Here we go. Right, that was hectic. Now, folks, we will come back to that. I will check in when we get to a natural break in the story. But now we're going to change the pace. We're going to slow things down. And we are going to begin to read The Yellow Wallpaper by Charlotte Perkins Gilman. I am really excited. I hope you really love it. It is very seldom that mere ordinary people like John and myself secure ancestral halls for the summer. A colonial mansion, a hereditary estate, I would say a haunted house, and reach the height of romantic felicity, but that would be asking too much of fate. Still, I will proudly declare that there is something queer about it. Else, why should it be let so cheaply? And why have stood so long untenanted? John laughs at me, of course, but one expects that in marriage. John is practical in the extreme. He has no patience with faith, an intense horror of superstition, and he scoffs openly at any talk of things not to be felt and seen and put down in figures. John is a physician, and perhaps, I would not say it to a living soul, of course, but this is dead paper, and a great relief to my mind. Perhaps that is one reason I do not get well faster. You see, he does not believe I am sick. And what can one do? If a physician of high standing and one's own husband assures friends and relatives that there is really nothing the matter with one but temporary nervous depression, a slight hysterical tendency, what is one to do? My brother is also a physician and also of high standing, and he says the same thing. So I take phosphates or phosphites, whichever it is, and tonics and journeys and air and exercise, and am absolutely forbidden to work until I am well again. Personally, I disagree with their ideas. Personally, I believe that congenial work with excitement and change would do me good. But what is one to do? I did write for a while, in spite of them, but it does exhaust me a good deal, having to be so sly about it, or else meet with heavy opposition. I sometimes fancy that in my condition, if I had less opposition and more society and stimulus... But John says the very worst thing I can do is to think about my condition, and I confess it always makes me feel bad. So I will let it alone and talk about the house. The most beautiful place. It is quite alone, standing well back from the road, quite 3 miles from the village. It makes me think of English places that you read about, for there are hedges and walls and gates that lock, and lots of separate little houses for the gardeners and people. There is a delicious garden. I never saw such a garden, large and shady, full of box-bordered paths, and lined with long grape-covered arbours with seats under them. There were greenhouses too, but they're all broken now. There was some legal trouble, I believe, something about the heirs and co-heirs. Anyhow, the place has been empty for years. That spoils my ghostliness, I am afraid, but I don't care. There is something strange about the house. I can feel it. I even said so to John one moonlight evening, but he said what I felt was a draught and shut the window. I get unreasonably angry with John sometimes. I'm sure I never used to be so sensitive. I think it is due to this nervous condition. But John says if I feel so, I shall neglect proper self-control. So I take pains to control myself, before him at least. And that makes me very tired. I don't like our room a bit. I wanted one downstairs that opened on the piazza and had roses all over the window and such pretty old-fashioned chintz hangings, but John would not hear of it. He said there was only one window and not room for 2 beds, and no near room for him if he took another. He is very careful and loving, and hardly lets me stir without special direction. I have a schedule prescription for each hour in the day. He takes all care from me, and so I feel basely ungrateful not to value it more. He said we came here solely on my account, that I was to have perfect rest and all the air I could get. Your exercise depends on your strength, my dear, said he, and your food somewhat on your appetite, but air you can absorb all the time. So we took the nursery at the top of the house. It is a big, airy room, the whole floor nearly, with windows that look all ways, and air and sunshine galore. It was nursery first, and then playground and gymnasium, I should judge, for the windows are barred for little children, and there are rings and things in the walls. The paint and paper look as if a boys' school had used it. It is stripped off, the paper, in great patches all around the head of my bed, about as far as I can reach, and in a great place on the other side of the room low down. I never saw a worse paper in my life. One of those sprawling, flamboyant patterns committing every artistic sin. It is dull enough to confuse the eye in following, pronounced enough to constantly irritate, and provoke study, and when you follow the lame, uncertain curves for a little distance, they suddenly commit suicide, plunge off at outrageous angles, destroy themselves in unheard-of contradictions. The colour is repellent, almost revolting, a smouldering, unclean yellow, strangely faded by the slow-turning sunlight. It is a dull yet lurid orange in some places, a sickly sulphur tint in others. No wonder the children hated it. I should hate it myself, if I had to live in this room long. There comes John. I must put this away. He hates to have me write a word. Let's take a break. Let's take a little break there. Okay, we have met our protagonist in a big house with sprawling gardens, cared for by John, the husband and physician, and the brother. Does she feel like she's getting better? Does she agree with their diagnoses? No. But what's the phrase she uses? She says, what can one do? And what can one do? Andrew D says, we've met the antagonist too. John is the worst, says Imladra D. Yeah, Frankie A says, cared for by John. John sucks, says Silver Salamance 10. Don't mince your words, folks. Boo, John, says Shannon Bennett. Wow. Raychick says, the spooky sad council has decided John has failed the vibe check. Yeah, John, try and do better on the vibe check. You failed the vibe check, John. Please try and do better. Okay, now I'm going to refresh the Just Giving page, and I'm... Ho-hum. Okay. £5,334. Okay, so the... Oh my... £5,000. £5,000. The goal that I set, they didn't buy me much time. I have to raise it again. Wait, I'm going to raise it. I'm going to raise it. I'm going to raise it to 6,000. There, I've done it. Okay, let's read some chats. Gentle Mandrill says, Luke, just go for a £10,000 goal. Jane Glewett says, go for 6,666. I mean, yeah, why not? Yeah, let's see if we can breeze through that quite so fast. 6,666. I mean, yeah, why not? There you go. I've changed it. Fine. Oh my gosh. Amy OD, thank you very much for your donation. Fran Fry, thank you so much. Fran Fry says, can't give a lot because I'm hitting some hard times right now, but I love this community. I'm suffering from depression and anxiety, and everyone here has been so beautiful. Thank you, Fran Fry. That means a lot. And I would add, viewers, that does come with a really generous donation. Fran Fry, thank you. And it's always great to hear from you in the chat. Zizza Hands, thank you very much. Elizabeth Anderson says, thank you for continuing to support great mental health charities, Luke. Thank you, Elizabeth Anderson, for the donation. Liv Collins, Rose Lucas. It's been so awesome to see loads of names that I recognise from the live chat of these streams, and also from the chat and the comments over on Outside Xbox and Outside Extra. What an awesome community. It is a privilege. It is a privilege to be making the video for you lot. Where did my words go there? Jason Bunkosuke, thank you very much. And I hope I pronounced that correctly. Mr. McWaggle, confident on that pronunciation, says it's a pleasure to support such a worthy cause and such a supportive community. Thank you very much. Brianna, AV, Joseph Marsh, Matt Shears, says, as someone who wouldn't be here today without Mind, I'm sorry I can't give more. Thank you. Matt Shears, you have given plenty. Thank you so much. That is so kind. Cathal Kelly says, you fool. Donation goals in this chat? Ha! We will smash them. We will smash them. Cathal Kelly actually only says we will smash them once. So that was an editorial decision that I made to say we will smash them twice. Hannah Axelson says, inspired by your amazing stream, I just finished doing a live reading of a ghost story on Twitch for a few friends. A donation to an important cause is the least I can do as a thank you. Hannah Axelson, that's so cool. Thank you. Mary Cluster says, thank you, Luke, for the work you've done with these live streams. Thank you so much. That's really, really kind of you. Sammy Oak says, this story means a lot to me. This is going to such a great cause. Thank you, Sammy Oak. Amazing. Donald Backlot. Alex H. Shona Douglas. Alex H. says, awareness for mental health is much needed, especially this year. Thanks, Luke, for everything you and Oxboxtra do. Thank you. Philip McShane. Thank you so much. Joseph Schultz. Yellow Wallpaper is one of my favourites. Daniel Denom says, fantastic course. How could I not support this? Thank you so much. Laura Mason, Steph. Drake Thomas. This year's been a tough one mentally, and you and your colleagues have been a big help in getting me and presumably many others through this. A great course to back. Solidarity. Thank you so much. Charlie, Amy Murray Holmes, Siobhan, Camberley Owen, Igor Ferreira. Oh my goodness, there's so many. Ollie Simon, Sarah, Laura Money, Becky S, Jenna Hittanen. Thank you everyone. Thank you everyone. Anthony Dunn says it would have been for more, but your top tells me you've killed so many Pikachus. Oh yeah, you have to. The thing is that you. I was about to say something really dark there. I was about to say you have to remove the tail for the stitching while the Pikachu is still alive, and I don't know why my mind went there because that's really grim. Sorry. Yeah, no, it's made of real Pikachus. It's Ari. Thank you so much. Oh man, I changed the vibe there, didn't I? Oh, amazing. Right, there, loads and loads of wonderful comments. Thank you all so much. I feel like I've missed some. They're coming in so fast. JP Trick and Sweeney, thank you everyone. I really apologize if I've missed any there. Please know that I am seeing them all and reading them as they come in. That's just awesome. Jen, thank you so much for your donation. Esme B, thank you. Donating a second time, says Esme B, because I forgot how frustrated I am with mental health provisions, how poor the mental health supports are, and how much this kind of fundraising is needed. Thank you for this, Esme B. I could not agree more. Thank you. Josh Pierini, Jupiter Sal. Amazing. Mackenzie Roney says, as someone who's been in and out of therapy for half my life, I find this so important. In general, this year has done a number on me and so many others. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Thank you, Mackenzie Roney. Matt S, Julia Tokish. Thank you very much. That was a really, really nice comment. Thank you, Julia. That was very kind. Okay, right. Shall we head back to the story? Okay, I'm going to do a little refresh. How are we working towards that target of £6,666? A cursed amount. We're doing good. There's not even £100 between the amount and that goal, which, I mean, as I say, when I first set this target, £250. £250 was the amount that I told myself, like, yeah, I would be so pleased if I could read the Yellow Wallpaper and we could, like, send a few £100 to a very good cause. So I am flawed. This doesn't feel real. So I'd probably better get back to reading for a bit. Okay, here we go. Okay. Sorry again for what I said about the Pikachus. Okay. We're diving back into the tale. We have been here 2 weeks, and I haven't felt like writing before since that first day. I'm sitting by the window now, up in this atrocious nursery, and there is nothing to hinder my writing as much as I please, save lack of strength. John is away all day, and even some nights when his cases are serious. I'm glad my case is not serious. But these nervous troubles are dreadfully depressing. John does not know how much I really suffer. He knows there is no reason to suffer, and that satisfies him. Of course, it is only nervousness. It does weigh on me so not to do my duty in any way. I meant to be such a help to John, such a real rest and comfort, and here I am a comparative burden already. Nobody would believe what an effort it is to do what little I am able, to dress and entertain and order things. It is fortunate Mary is so good with the baby. Such a dear baby. And yet I cannot be with him. It makes me so nervous. I suppose John never was nervous in his life. He laughs at me so about this wallpaper. At first he meant to repaper the room, but afterwards he said that I was letting it get the better of me, and that nothing was worse for a nervous patient than to give way to such fancies. He said that after the wallpaper was changed, it would be the heavy bedstead, and then the barred windows, and then that gate at the head of the stairs, and so on. You know the place is doing you good, he said. And really, dear, I don't care to renovate the house just for a 3 months rental. Then do let us go downstairs, I said. There are such pretty rooms there. Then he took me in his arms and called me a blessed little goose, and said he would go down to the cellar, if I wished, and have it whitewashed into the bargain. But he is right enough about the beds and windows and things. It is as airy and comfortable a room as anyone need wish. And of course I would not be so silly as to make him uncomfortable just for a whim. I'm really getting quite fond of the big room. All but the horrid paper. Out of one window I can see the garden, those mysterious deep-shaded arbours, the riotous old-fashioned flowers and bushes and gnarly trees. Out of another I get a lovely view of the bay and a little private wharf belonging to the estate. There is a beautiful shaded lane that runs down there from the house. I always fancy I see people walking in these numerous paths and arbours, but John has cautioned me not to give way to fancy in the least. He says that with my imaginative power and habit of story-making, a nervous weakness like mine is sure to lead to all manner of excited fancies, and that I ought to use my will and good sense to check the tendency, so I try. I think sometimes that if I were only well enough to write a little, it would relieve the press of ideas and rest me. But I find I get pretty tired when I try. It is so discouraging not to have any advice and companionship about my work. When I get really well, John says we will ask Cousin Henry and Julia down for a long visit, but he says he would as soon put fireworks in my pillowcase as to let me have those stimulating people about now. I wish I could get well faster. But I must not think about that. This paper looks to me as if it knew what a vicious influence it had. There is a recurrent spot where the pattern lolls like a broken neck and two bulbous eyes stare at you upside down. I get positively angry with the impertinence of it, and the everlastingness. Up and down and sideways they crawl, and those absurd unblinking eyes are everywhere. There is one place where two breadths didn't match, and the eyes go all up and down the line, one a little higher than the other. I never saw so much expression in an inanimate thing before, and we all know how much expression they have. I used to lie awake as a child and get more entertainment and terror out of blank walls and plain furniture than most children could find in a toy store. I remember what a kindly wink the knobs of our big old bureau used to have, and there was one chair that always seemed like a strong friend. I used to feel that if any of the other things looked too fierce, I could always hop into that chair and be safe. The furniture in this room is no worse than inharmonious, however, for we had to bring it all from downstairs. I suppose when this was used as a playroom, they had to take the nursery things out. And no wonder, I never saw such ravages as the children have made here. The wallpaper, as I said before, is torn off in spots, and it sticketh closer than a brother. They must have had perseverance as well as hatred. Then the floor is scratched and gouged and splintered. The plaster itself is dug out here and there, and this great heavy bed, which is all we found in the room, looks as if it had been through the wars. But I don't mind it a bit. Only the paper. There comes John's sister. Such a dear girl as she is, and so careful of me. I must not let her find me writing. She is a perfect and enthusiastic housekeeper, and hopes for no better profession. I verily believe she thinks it is the writing which makes me sick. But I can write when she is out, and see her a long way off from these windows. There is one that commands the road, a lovely shaded winding road, and one that just looks off over the country. A lovely country too, full of great elms and velvet meadows. This wallpaper has a kind of sub-pattern in a different shade, a particularly irritating one, for you can only see it in certain lights, and not clearly then. But in the places where it isn't faded, and where the sun is just so, I can see a strange, provoking, formless sort of figure that seems to sulk about behind that silly and conspicuous front design. There's Sister on the stairs. Let's take another break there. I love the way this is written. I absolutely adore it. When you compare the style of writing of this to most of the other stories that we read on these streams, this one is just so much more accessible. It's easy to read, like whether you're reading it aloud or just reading it by yourself. It's beautifully written. These kind of short, punchy sentences, they manage to be so powerful. Occasionally you get a glimpse of like how old this story is. For example, the word sticketh, the wallpaper sticketh, which occasionally gives you a clue as to like how long, over 120 years this story was written. But like apart from those occasional words, like I swear, like it could have been written, unfortunately, as well, like even the stuff about, there's so much to unpack in this story. I remember when I read this the first time, the thing that really hit me was John's insistence that because the protagonist is anxious and distracted and depressed, that she mustn't be around stimulating people, and that she can't see her friends, and it just that sort of misunderstanding about how helpful it is to just be distracted and stimulated and to get out of your own head for a little bit. It's absolutely maddening to read this story now. I mean, I imagine it would have also been maddening to read it at the time. That was kind of the point, right? But just to think that these kind of attitudes were commonplace is terrifying. Rose Lucas puts it very well, saying it's sad how many people still have John's attitude to mental health even today. Yeah. It's properly written like a diary, says Ellen. Yeah, it is properly written like a diary. Yeah. Really conversational. So easy to read. So fun. Okay. I'm going to refresh the page. Let's see, 5, 7, 6. Okay. Wow. Okay. Minutes later, £300. Blimey. That is wild. I can't believe this. Denise L says this story hits very close for my comfort. I would say, I found this story scary and uncomfortable to read the first time I read it. Abundance for Cat says this is kind of heartbreaking to listen to. Glad I didn't seek this one out on my own. Well, yeah, hopefully this is a good way to enjoy this story, because yeah, it is savage. It is savage, for all the sort of like quaint old writing. It hits hard. Okay, let's check back in with the donations. Oh my gosh, we're up to 250 supporters, which is wild. Silverania says, thanks for doing this, Luke. Thank you for donating, Silverania. Ellie and George says, one of my favourite books I had to read for uni, and such a fantastic and needed cause. Glad for the opportunity to share it with my partner too. Anonymous says, Mind is such a good charity and does some really incredible work on such an important issue. Congrats on raising so much for an incredible cause, Luke. Thank you. Bolasaurus says, this has been a rough year for mine and my partner's mental health. Thank you to you and the Oxboxtra crew for helping us laugh when times have been bleak. Erin Olivia says, thank you for raising money for something so important and doing it in such a special way. Keep doing what you're doing. I can't donate much, but I hope it helps. Erin, that is so generous. Thank you very much. Anonymous says, these streams have be keeping me company during a 2020 that is truly kicking my butt. But I know I'm not alone in this, and it's charities like mine that ensure that. Keep up the amazing stuff you do. Anonymous, that you have put it so well. Eduardo Newhouse says, Target? What target? But Mad NNW says, Luke's lovely voice reading an amazing story supporting a wonderful cause, and I actually catch it live for a change. Wins all around. Thank you, Luke, for all you've done for us this year. And that comes with a $50 donation. Thank you so much. That is really generous. DJ Howard says, thank you, wonderful cause to support. Happy Halloween. Michael says, you've helped me and so many others feel better when things get difficult, and it's not always easy to get support for mental health. So I hope that I can give something that can help others. Thank you, Michael. That's really kind. And yeah, it's true. It's this stuff isn't easy. I think even I think increasingly so many people recognize that it's so important that people have access to like mental health resources, but the actual mechanics of it are still so hard. Even if you have got to a point where like you sort of said to yourself like I think I'm struggling and I need some help, like it's not obvious. It's not obvious what to do. Yeah, and I mean, I've definitely found that that's the case in the UK. I imagine, hopefully, there are some countries where it's better. I imagine there are a lot of countries where it's worse. So yeah, right. Hang on, back on the chat. Kath says, "You're doing such great work, Kath. Don't forget to take care of yourself, Mr. Westaway. Mr. Westaway is in all caps. To keep it formal." To keep it formal. Hang on, I feel like I should be doing a cheers to that. To keep it formal. Cheers. I feel like I'm doing an advert for this goblet. Cheers. And now I have to do like a telegenic drink. I hate drinking on camera. It always never looks good. Look away. Sophie and Richard says, "Hope this helps someone find support and peace." Thank you so much, Sophie and Richard. Anonymous donates $10. Thank you very much. Deanna Violet says, "This is so important." Thank you. Philip Ratkovich says, "Shy Violet is just thanking you, Luke, for bringing the Spicy Sad squad together because you're all truly the best, and interacting with everyone has been nothing but joy." That's so kind. Willie Tao says, "Thank you, Luke, for the great stories and funny vids on Oxtra." You're so welcome. Rebecca Jones, thank you very much for your donation as well. £20, very kind. Sarah Wilkins says, "Currently studying to become a counsellor. Hope I can help people in the future. Hope this donation helps now." Sarah Wilkin, I know that it will. Thank you, Madeline. That's very kind. Samu Zan says, "Xmas stories next." Maybe we should do... Gosh, we should start thinking about Christmas, shouldn't we? I mean, it's Halloween now. This is like a Halloween special, but we're going to have to start thinking about Christmas soon. The obvious choice, of course, is a Christmas Carol, which, I don't think I've ever actually read. I mean, once you've seen the Muppet version, there really is no need to read or consume any other interpretation of the story. I truly believe that. But nevertheless, could be a fun opportunity, right? Laura Guglielmo says, "Working as a freelance artist, I cannot stress how important it is to take care of your mental health. I'm sorry I can't give more, but here's a little tip to a noble cause." Thank you, Laura. That is really generous. Thank you very much. PTO NPC, thank you very much. And Sarah McNestry and Matthias Amno and Phil Stevens and Kelsey S, who says, "Thanks for everything you do, Luke. Your soothing voice and positive energy never fails to cheer me up." Oh, thank you. Anna, thank you very much. Says, "As these times are especially trying for mental health, I can only thank you for raising awareness and funds. Your stories have helped me through lonely evenings, and it was like having friends over." Oh, Anna, that's such a nice comment to read. Thank you. And Jem says, "I hope you and the rest of the Oxboxtra crew know how much you're appreciated by us all and the impact you make. Amazing charity, amazing work." And thank you, Max, as well, for your donation. Okay, right. Okay, I'm going to hazard a little refresh, see how we're doing. We're on 6145. Oh, whoa, okay. 6553. Okay, right. Okay. I'm going to have to... Okay. I'm going to have to move the goal again, aren't I? That's... awesome. I can't believe the generosity on show here. Joe Schultz says, "Muppet version is what Charles wanted to make but didn't have the guts." Okay. I'm going to move the goalpost. I'm not going to move the goalpost until we hit the cursed target of £6,666. But boy, we are close. I feel like maybe if I just read another few chats, by the time I read them and I refresh, we might be there, which is awesome. Rebecca says, Luke, you're doing an amazing job. Thank you for fundraising for such an amazing and important charity. It's streams like this that have helped so many of us through this year. Thank you, Rebecca. And Mark Holdcroft, thank you so much. £50, Mark Holdcroft. That's so generous. $100 from Jeffrey Ratskay. Sorry, Jeffrey, if I mangled your last name there. Says, hope this helps, Luke. I can promise you it will. That is so generous. Anthony Dunn says, I was originally affronted by your Pikachu death top, but your maniacal laugh reading my comment convinced me that death to the Pokemon is nothing but fun. Lol. Thanks, Anthony Dunn. Glad to have brought you around on the issue of on the issue of Pikachu tail harvesting. Ian Nimbletack donating again, says squeezing a little bit more out of the wallet for such a good cause and such a good group of people. Thank you so much. Jan Stenholt, Kat, Jared. Kat says, thanks for doing this, Luke. £20. Thank you, Kat. And don't forget, you can put gift aid on this. That's a huge part of why we're raising so much money, is because you can whack gift aid on it. Jared says, I'm glad I caught the Mind charity stream. Thanks for the uplifting content and for building an online community that supports those struggling with mental health. Jared, it's my pleasure. I mean, the community more or less built itself. I feel like I did very little. But I'm just chuffed to be a part of it. Flusen DB, not sure if I pronounced that right. Thank you very much for your donation. £50. Gosh, that's generous. Michael H says, thank you for all that you do on your own channel as well as with Outside Xbox and Outside Extra. What you all do for others is amazing. I'm glad that I'm able to help you. Thank you. $100. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Michael H. Sam Foster says, we have to hit that special spooky goal. Thanks for everything you're doing, Luke. This truly is a wonderful cause. Ben Horton says, thanks, Luke, for all your brilliant streams and a great charity choice. Loving the reading tonight, as always. Sinead O'Connor says, Luke, your spooky book club and wonderful music has been so helpful this year. Thank you so much. And stay safe. Thank you. Johnny, thank you for your donation. Jas V says, thank you, Luke. Your streams have been so much fun. A real light in the darkness, my gosh. And thank you, Anonymous, as well. Jas V, £100. £100, that's such a generous donation. Okay, I'm going to refresh and I'm going to see if we're there. Wow, okay, we're there. We're at, okay. I thought we might be at 6,666, the cursed target. We have shot past the cursed target, which means we've defeated the demon, which is great. That's fantastic. Okay, gosh, right. God, bloody hell, we're at like $7,000. Oh man, all right. 7.5. 7. Yep. Let's do it. Sheik in Brooklyn says, for a worthy cause, thank you very much. Rogue Monitor says, you already do so much to help people like me. Just doing what you do. Anything I can do to help back is important. Thank you, Rogue Monitor. That's really nice of you. Lovely World to Be says, donating makes me nervous, but it's for a good cause and helps me get more confidence. Thank you for all the nice stories. Lovely World to Be, thank you so much for your donation. And yeah, that's really kind of you. And I hope that gives you a confidence boost. Dominic C says, while I've been lucky enough to never particularly struggle with mental health, I understand that my situation is not ubiquitous, so I hope this donation can go towards helping others. Dominic C, I know it will. Jason Bunkowski donating again says, love you guys at OX, keep up the great work, thank you. Aiden says, just trying to help, have a good one. Aiden, you have helped, you champion, thank you. Casey McConville says, thank you for all you've done this year, Luke. You and the team have been a huge part in making it bearable for me. Much love. And Rebecca says, Luke, you're doing such an amazing job. Gosh, thank you for fundraising for such an amazing, important charity. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay. Right. Okay. I think I'm up to date. I think I'm roughly up to date. Sort of. They're coming in. They're coming in faster than I can read. I'm gonna read a few more. Then I will get back to the story. Just for context, like we're probably coming up on. I'm going to say we're maybe a little under halfway through the story. There will come a point where I'll stop taking breaks I'm just reading ahead because there will come a point where I won't want to stop. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm just planning ahead a little bit. Bear with me for 5 seconds. Okay. Right. I found. We're going to read again. We're going to take another break. Then we're gonna finish. The last chunk will be longer because, as I say. Okay, right. Let's read a few more chats. Then we'll read. I'm basically just talking to myself at this point on. The Brain of Jen says, this is so wonderful. Thanks for what you do. And everyone in this chat, a little more to get to the spooky goal and beyond. VVJ says, thank you for your great work, Luke. I've been watching Oxboxer for many years now, but I haven't been able to comment before. So using this great opportunity to support both you and a great cause. Thank you. Emily and Gareth says, donating to the Make Luke Cry with Happiness Fund on behalf of the Spicy Sad Squad. Thanks for bringing us together. We've made some friends for life. Well, you are going to make me cry if you're not careful. Emily and Gareth, thank you so much. That's really generous. Yep. Small cry. Small crying. Small crying. It's fine. Iskander, see if you can pronounce it properly. Did I? Says, Luke, you're my favourite person on the internet. Gosh, that's very flattering. Thank you. And Athanasius says, thank you for all you, Ellen, Oxbox, Eurogame, and Dicebreaker do, and their communities for showing there are wonderful, lovely people out there. Claire says, thanks for being such a gem, Luke. I hope this money can help others find the support that I struggle to get. It's so important to make mental health support accessible. And that's a big part of what Mind is all about. So that money is going to a good place. Thank you, Frederick. £100 donation, Frederick. That's so generous. Thank you. Giacomo Montanari says, a little bit more towards the cursed goal. We smashed that cursed goal, Giacomo. We got there. Thank you. Michelle M says, thank you for all you're doing for such a great cause. Thank you. Pint-Sized Dork says, love the story and love the live streams. And Pint-Sized Dork donates $66.66, which is cool. Anonymous, thank you very much. Shell says, too scared to check my bank account, so I dare not give more. But as someone whose life was derailed for over a decade by unchecked mental illness, I'll do what I can to help others avoid the same. Thank you, Shell. That is so generous. Thank you, everyone who's donating. Only donate what you can. I hope that goes without saying. But Shell, that is really, really kind. Thank you. Oh gosh, look at this. Oh man. Deanna Violet says, I've got more money left at the end of the month than I thought, so have more. Also, read one of the ghost stories for Christmas that the BBC made in the 70s. I would love to. I can tell you a little story, a little secret, Deanna. A big part of the way I choose my stories is which ones are in the public domain, because they're so old. So ones made in the 70s might not be there yet, but I will check them out, because you never know. There might be readings of even older stories. And Laura Ann, this is so nice, says, saw someone in the chat who couldn't donate themselves, so I've popped back to give a little more. This one's for them. So if that was you in the chat, Laura Ann has got your back. So kind. So kind. Okay. Right. Let's do some more reading, shall we? Well, the 4th of July is over. The people are gone, and I am tired out. John thought it might do me good to see a little company, so we just had Mother and Nellie and the children down for a week. Of course, I didn't do a thing. Jenny sees to everything now, but it tired me all the same. John says if I don't pick up faster, he shall send me to Weir Mitchell in the fall. But I don't want to go there at all. I had a friend who was in his hands once, and she says he is just like John and my brother, only more so. Besides, it is such an undertaking to go so far. I don't feel as if it was worthwhile to turn my hand over for anything, and I'm getting dreadfully fretful and querulous. I cry at nothing, and cry most of the time. Of course I don't when John is here or anybody else, but when I'm alone. And I am alone a good deal just now. John is kept in town very often by serious cases, and Jenny is good and lets me alone when I want her to. So I walk a little in the garden or down that lovely lane, sit on the porch under the roses, and lie down up here a good deal. I'm getting really fond of the room, in spite of the wallpaper. Perhaps because of the wallpaper. It dwells in my mind so. I lie here on this great immovable bed, it is nailed down, I believe, and follow that pattern about by the hour. It is as good as gymnastics, I assure you. I start, we'll say, at the bottom, down in the corner over there, where it has not been touched, and I determine for the 1000th time that I will follow that pointless pattern to some sort of a conclusion. I know a little of the principle of design, and I know this thing was not arranged on any laws of radiation or alternation or repetition or symmetry or anything else that ever I heard of. It is repeated, of course, but by breadths, but not otherwise. Looked at in one way, each breadth stands alone. The bloated curves and flourishes, a kind of debased Romanesque with delirium tremens, go waddling up and down in isolated columns of fatuity. But on the other hand, they connect diagonally, and the sprawling outlines run off in great slanting waves of optic horror, like a lot of wallowing seaweeds in full chase. The whole thing goes horizontally too, at least it seems so, and I exhaust myself in trying to distinguish the order of its going in that direction. They have used a horizontal breadth for a frieze, and that adds wonderfully to the confusion. There is one end of the room where it is almost intact, and there, when the cross lights fade, and the low sun shines directly upon it, I can almost fancy radiation after all. The interminable grotesques seem to form around a common centre and rush off in headlong plunges of equal distraction. It makes me tired to follow it. I will take a nap, I guess. I don't know why I should write this. I don't want to. I don't feel able. And I know John would think it absurd. But I must say what I feel and think in some way. It is such a relief. But the effort is getting to be greater than the relief. Half the time now I am awfully lazy, and lie down ever so much. John says I mustn't lose my strength, and has me take cod liver oil and lots of tonics and things, to say nothing of ale and wine and rare meat. Dear John, he loves me very dearly and hates to have me sick. I tried to have a real earnest, reasonable talk with him the other day, and tell him how I wish he would let me go and make a visit to Cousin Henry and Julia. But he said I wasn't able to go, nor able to stand it after I got there, and I did not make out a very good case for myself, for I was crying before I had finished. It is getting to be a great effort for me to think straight. It's just this nervous weakness, I suppose. And dear John gathered me up in his arms and just carried me upstairs and laid me on the bed, and sat by me and read to me till I tired, and it tired my head. He said I was his darling and his comfort and all he had, and that I must take care of myself for his sake and keep well. He says no one but myself can help me out of it, that I must use my will and self-control and not let any silly fancies run away with me. There's one comfort. The baby is well and happy, and does not have to occupy this nursery with the horrid wallpaper. If we had not used it, that blessed child would have. What a fortunate escape. Why, I wouldn't have a child of mine, an impressionable little thing, live in such a room for worlds. I never thought of it before, but it is lucky that John kept me here after all. I can stand it so much easier than a baby, you see. Of course, I never mention it to them any more. I am too wise. But I keep watch of it all the same. There are things in that paper that nobody knows but me, or ever will. Behind that outside pattern, the dim shapes get clearer every day. It is always the same shape, only very numerous. And it is like a woman stooping down and creeping about behind that pattern. I don't like it a bit. I wonder. I begin to think. I wish John would take me away from here. Okay, let's take our break there. Our last break. Our last break. There we go. Hannah Axelson says, I feel like John deserves a high five in the face with a chair. Okay. Right, that was our last break. After this, I'm going to read more chat, and then we are going to power through the whole rest of the story, because I want to keep up some of the momentum, especially as we accelerate into the end stage. Sorry, I just refreshed the page. 7,581 reached of 7,500 target. That is 101%. We have achieved the impossible 101%. Oh my gosh. What am I gonna? Okay. Yep. Yes. 8,000. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I've done it. I've literally done it. Folks, this is wild. £250. £250 was the £250 was the goal, and I thought about that goal. I really thought about that goal. Okay, right. Let's check in with the chat. My gosh. Kim Steins, thank you so much. $100. Kim Steins, thank you so much. Umberto Molinati says, this is a really great cause, especially when paired to equally good storytelling. Keep it up, Luke, and the fine people at Mind. Thank you so much. F. Theodore Elliott says, crying helps, dude. Let it out. Your streams and content recently have helped kept me sane this year, and your music has really helped me give me perspective on my own mental health. Much love. Thank you, F. Theodore Elliott. Oh, man, don't worry about me. I cry all the time. I am always on a hair trigger for weeping, basically. Anything sets me off. Anonymous, thank you so much for your £20 donation. Carl Bover says, here's a little extra to push you towards your new goal of 7,500, which I'm sure will be smashed by this wonderful community. Yes, Carl Bover, they smashed it easily and really quickly. I can't quite believe it, so I'm singing. Always happy to help such good causes. Thank you, Luke and Oxboxtra. Thank you, Carl Bover. Georgie says, as someone with zero self-esteem, I don't have many friends, but when I see the faces of any of the Oxbox team, I begin to feel a little less lonely. Georgie, that is a powerful message to read. Thank you very much for your donation. I'm glad that the channels help, and I hope that things get a little I hope that load gets a little lighter soon, Georgie. But thank you very much for your donation. Zaki D says, as a regular OX crew viewer with PTSD, thank you from the bottom of my heart. #Spicy Sad Squad. $120 US dollars, Zaki D. Thank you so much. I can't believe that generosity. That's amazing. Vera, thank you. 20 euros from Vera. A random lady says, that is the username, by the way. I didn't just say a random lady. A random lady says, thank you, Luke. Your lovely voice calmed me down a lot of times this messed up year. The streams and the content on the Oxbox channels are always something to look forward to for me. Stay unhaunted. May you all stay unhaunted. Thank you. Amazing. Okay. Charlotte Winwood says, thank you for everything you and the Oxboxtra teams do. You're such wonderful people and have done so much for my mental health by making me smile and laugh. Much love. Thank you, Anonymous. Thank you for your £10 donation. Anna says, very worthy cause that needs all the resources and awareness it can get, because unfortunately a lot of people still don't take mental health very seriously because it is an invisible struggle. That is so right, Anna. You put that beautifully. Thank you very much, and thank you for your donation. Again, if you're donating anonymously, then thank you very much. I'm seeing them all. They are going hitting me straight in the heart. Here's an anonymous donation. Nikki Sordy said that if we get to £10,000, you have to film a Plant Nutrition Boy pilot episode. I'm pretty sure the whole community agrees. So just passing along the message. I mean, sure, but the pilot episode, we've got to go big. Like, the budget has to be huge. Or does it? Could it just be Plant Nutrition Boy in a garden, and he walks around the garden and he partakes of the plants. He eats plants, and we see him getting visibly nutrified. Maybe at the beginning he's like sort of slouching, lethargic, tired, but then he just tugs a huge rope of ivy off the side of a brick house and just eats it like a red vine or something, and the colour floods back to his cheeks. I mean, I'm just spitballing here. I shouldn't. I'm not sure I should give away these great content ideas, but there we go. Elisha Melia says, I'm donating again. I've been suffering from depression and anxiety after suffering from multiple miscarriages, so this story is really hitting me hard. This is such an important cause. Elisha Melia, that is such a rough time. I'm so sorry to hear that. Thank you so much for your repeated donations, though. As I said, this story hits hard. It is touching on some of those themes, and yeah, I hope you're doing all right, and I hope you're doing okay. Elisha Melly, I hope things. I hope you're doing okay. Okay, right. Okay, right. Let's just do a little refresh. Okay. Okay. Huh. Okay. Now we're at 8,804. We've gone up like over a. We've gone up. Okay, I had to order my thoughts a little there. We've gone up by like over £1,000 in a few minutes. Why? I'm diving into the chat. Bloody hell, there it is. Anonymous has donated £1,000. 1,000 human pounds. Wow. Oh my god. Such an important cause, says Anonymous. This year more than ever. Thank you for everything you all do to make the world a little better. I can't believe that. That is... Wow. Go Anonymous, says Nimbletack. Right? That is staggeringly generous. Thank you so much, Anonymous. Thank you. Whether your donations have been of such staggeringly generous size, or whether they've been very small, they are all helping a brilliant cause. But Anonymous, wow. I mean, wow. Oh my gosh. That's blown my mind. Thank you, Anonymous. Oh gosh. Okay. Oh well, I have to change the goal again now. What is it? Screw it. I'm putting it on 10k. I'm not gonna move it past that. But holy crap. Excuse my French. Wait, did I just accidentally change that to 100,000? No, I got it right. That's the right number of zeros. It's a little hard to tell when your brain has fried like mine. Oh my god. Yeah, screw it. Yeah, 10k. All right. I'm not going to put it past that because like that is more than anyone could possibly expect to ask of what is, let's face it, a modest YouTube community. I don't want everyone like giving all their money, which is my concern now. But like, but man, that is, but that is wild. Okay, I'm gonna do my best to do justice to do this story justice, like you all deserve for your incredible generosity. But let me read another few before we bring this home, because folks, although you're blowing my mind here with your generosity, and this is so wonderful and so heartwarming, it's a real tonal dissonance because things are going to get very creepy in the story. Laura Summers says, my own mind has tormented me all my life. But good people, like everyone from Oxbox in this community, can help make it bearable. Thank you for the kindness and joy you give to so many people. Gosh, Lois Summers, thank you. Charlie Locke says, this story has always resonated with me. It took a long time to get my diagnosis. Thank you so much, Luke, for all your streams. They've been a warm hug that I've really appreciated. Charlie Locke, thank you very much. Gentle Mandrill, donating again. Gosh, Gentle Mandrill says, this is from all of the Spicy Sad Squad. We just wanted you to know that all of us are so very grateful that you brought us together. Thank you for everything you do and for bringing people together. You're welcome, Gentle Mandrill. All I'm trying to do is entertain myself on YouTube and indulge myself playing some music and reading spooky stories. It's you lot being really kind to each other that makes this a good community. Sarah Robbo says, carving my pumpkin and enjoying the story so much. I've had a long and hard journey through the last decade of recovery from PTSD and depression, but I made it, so here's some money to cheer others on. Thank you, Sarah Robbo. Thank you so much. Matthias Amno, thank you very much for your donation. Dave Walker says, what is best in life? Crush your charity goals, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentation of having to raise it. Nice. Joe Schultz, thank you very much. Thank you very much for donating as well. Okay. Gosh, we're nearly at £9,000. I mean, my God, it's a played out meme, isn't it, to do the Vegeta it's over 9,000 thing, but I'm hearing it real loud in my head. What does the scanner say about the donation level? It's over 9,000. It's not quite yet, but like, I know it will be. I just know it. Anonymous says, keep being awesome, Luke. Thanks for everything you and the OX crew do. Emily and Gareth says, we're lucky enough to be in a position where we can donate a little more. This one goes out to the ones who can't donate. We've got your back. Emily and Gareth, bless you. That is so, so kind. If you're out there and you're watching this and you can't donate right now, A, that's totally fine and cool. And B, Emily and Gareth have your back. Iceflower says, thank you for supporting such an important cause and the wonderful entertainment. And Erin Olivia says, donating a last little bit for all this super wholesome content. Luke and everyone in the chat should be so proud. We all make one hell of a team. I completely agree. CJ, $50 thank you. It says hashtag Spicy Sad Squad. And Axel says, for a good cause during bad time for mental health. Thank you for all your hard work. Okay. There we go. We're over 9,000 now. Over 9,000. Anonymous says, on a serious note, you've done such an amazing job today. Just think of all the people you've helped. You're fantastic, Luke from Ant in Strabane. Strabane? I hope I pronounced that right. Thank you, Anonymous. I am... my brain is doing some mental gymnastics to not look directly at how much money we've raised here today. It's like looking at the sun. It's too much. It's too big. Later I will process this. Anonymous says, great cause, Luke. Fun fact, your music helped encourage me to try therapy for the first time. Keep releasing new tunes. Thank you, Anonymous. Small amount of crying. That's fine. I am working on a new song. I am trying. Sorry, that sounded really defensive. I'm trying. Yeah, no, I am working on a new song. I hope to have it out soon. Soonish. The new song is kind of a downer. It's weird to think about now because I'm having such a good day with this. But yeah, the new song is kind of it's just a little bit of a vent really about mental health stuff, I guess. But yeah. Alex H says, happy to help a good cause. Spicy Sad Squad has no limit. May as well just make it a 20,000 goal and leave it there, Luke. This stream is a big virtual hug for everyone which has been much needed. Thank you, Alex H. Thank you so much. I'm not going to move it past 10k. If we beat that, if we keep going, I would be so delighted and so happy. But that is, that's a beautiful round number. That is so much more than I'd hope to raise, and I'm not going to move the goalposts again. But my God. Freya Hannah says, your channels have helped me so much through this absolutely terrible year. You bring such joy and happiness in times of darkness. Thanks for everything. Here's to 10k. Thank you. Okay. Right. Shall we finish the story? Okay. All of these delightful vibes because of your wonderful generosity. Let's just press press pause on that and bring the story home. It is so hard to talk with John about my case, because he is so wise and because he loves me so. But I tried it last night. It was moonlight. The moon shines in all around, just as the sun does. I hate to see it sometimes. It creeps so slowly, and always comes in by one window or another. John was asleep, and I hated to waken him, so I kept still and watched the moonlight on that undulating wallpaper till I felt creepy. The faint figure behind seemed to shake the pattern, just as if she wanted to get out. I got up softly and went to feel and see if the paper did move, and when I came back, John was awake. "What is it, little girl?" he said. "Don't go walking about like that. You'll get cold." I thought it was a good time to talk, so I told him that I really was not gaining here, and that I wished he would take me away. "Why, darling," said he, "our lease will be up in 3 weeks, and I can't see how to leave before. The repairs are not done at home, and I cannot possibly leave town just now. Of course, if you were in any danger, I could and would, but you really are better, dear, whether you can see it or not. I am a doctor, dear, and I know. You are gaining flesh and colour. Your appetite is better. I feel really much easier about you." "I don't weigh a bit more," said I. "Nor as much, and my appetite may be better in the evening when you are here, but it is worse in the morning when you are away." "Bless her little heart," said he with a big hug. "She shall be as sick as she pleases. But now let's improve the shining hours by going to sleep and talk about it in the morning." "And you won't go away?" I asked gloomily. "Why, how can I, dear? It is only 3 weeks more, and then we will take a nice little trip of a few days while Jenny is getting the house ready. Really, dear, you are better." "Better in body, perhaps," I began, and stopped short. For he sat up straight and looked at me with such a stern, reproachful look that I could not say another word. "My darling," said he, "I beg of you, for my sake and for our child's sake, as well as for your own, that you will never for one instant let that idea enter your mind. There is nothing so dangerous, so fascinating to a temperament like yours. It is a false and foolish fancy. Can you not trust me as a physician when I tell you so?" So of course I said no more on that score, and we went to sleep before long. He thought I was asleep first, but I wasn't. I lay there for hours trying to decide whether that front pattern and the back pattern really did move together or separately. On a pattern like this, by daylight, there is a lack of sequence, a defiance of law that is a constant irritant to a normal mind. The colour is hideous enough and unreliable enough and infuriating enough, but the pattern is torturing. You think you've mastered it, but just as you get well underway in following, it turns a back somersault and there you are. It slaps you in the face, knocks you down and tramples upon you. It is like a bad dream. The outside pattern is a florid arabesque, reminding one of a fungus. If you can imagine a toadstool in joints, an interminable string of toadstools, budding and sprouting in endless convolutions, why, that is something like it. That is, sometimes. There is one marked peculiarity about this paper, a thing nobody seems to notice but myself, and that is that it changes as the light changes. When the sun shoots in through the east window, I always watch for that first long straight ray. It changes so quickly that I never can quite believe it. That is why I watch it always. By moonlight, the moon shines in all night when there is a moon, I wouldn't know it was the same paper. At night, in any kind of light, in twilight, candlelight, lamplight, and worst of all by moonlight, it becomes bars. The outside pattern, I mean, and the woman behind it is as plain as can be. I didn't realise for a long time what the thing was that showed behind that dim sub-pattern, but now I am quite sure it is a woman. By daylight she is subdued, quiet. I fancy it is the pattern that keeps her so still. It is so puzzling, it keeps me quiet by the hour. I lie down ever so much now. John says it is good for me and to sleep all I can. Indeed, he started the habit by making me lie down for an hour after each meal. It is a very bad habit, I am convinced, for you see, I don't sleep. And that cultivates deceit, for I don't tell them I'm awake. Oh no. The fact is, I'm getting a little afraid of John. He seems very queer sometimes, and even Jenny has an inexplicable look. It strikes me occasionally, just as a scientific hypothesis, that perhaps it is the paper. I have watched John when he did not know I was looking, and come into the room suddenly on the most innocent excuses, and I've caught him several times looking at the paper. And Jenny too. I caught Jenny with her hand on it once. She didn't know I was in the room. And when I asked her in a very quiet voice, with the most restrained manner possible, what she was doing with the paper, she turned around as if she had been caught stealing and looked quite angry, asked me why I should frighten her so. Then she said that the paper stained everything it touched, that she had found yellow smooches on all my clothes and John's, and she wished we would be more careful. Did not that sound innocent? But I know she was studying the pattern, and I am determined that nobody shall find it out but myself. Life is very much more exciting now than it used to be. You see, I have something more to expect, to look forward to watch. I really do eat better, and I am more quiet than I was. John is so pleased to see me improve. He laughed a little the other day and said I seemed to be flourishing in spite of my wallpaper. I turned it off with a laugh. I had no intention of telling him it was because of the wallpaper. He would make fun of me. He might even want to take me away. But I don't want to leave now until I have found it out. There is a week more, and I think that will be enough. I'm feeling ever so much better. I don't sleep much at night, for it is so interesting to watch developments, but I sleep a good deal in the daytime. In the daytime it is tiresome and perplexing. There are always new shoots on the fungus, and new shades of yellow all over it. I cannot keep count of them, though I have tried conscientiously. It is the strangest yellow, that wallpaper. It makes me think of all the yellow things I ever saw. Not beautiful ones like buttercups, but old, foul, bad yellow things. But there is something else about that paper. The smell. I noticed it the moment we came into the room, but with so much air and sun it was not bad. Now we have had a week of fog and rain, and whether the windows are open or not, the smell is here. It creeps all over the house. I find it hovering in the dining room, skulking in the parlour, hiding in the hall, lying in wait for me on the stairs. It gets into my hair. Even when I go to ride, if I turn my head suddenly and surprise it, there is that smell. Such a peculiar odour too. I have spent hours in trying to analyse it to find out what it smelled like. It is not bad at first, and very gentle, but quite the subtlest, most enduring odour I ever met. In this damp weather, it is awful. I wake up in the night and find it hanging over me. It used to disturb me at first. I thought seriously of burning the house to reach the smell. But now I am used to it. The only thing I can think of that it is like is the colour of the paper. A yellow smell. There is a very funny mark on this wall, low down near the mopboard, a streak that runs round the room. It goes behind every piece of furniture except the bed, a long, straight, even smooch, as if it had been rubbed over and over. I wonder how it was done, and who did it, and what they did it for. Round and round and round. Round and round and round. It makes me dizzy. I've discovered something at last. Through watching so much at night, when it changes so, I've finally found out. The front pattern does move. No wonder. The woman behind shakes it. Sometimes I think there are a great many women behind, and sometimes only one, and she crawls around fast, and her crawling shakes it all over. Then in the very bright spots, she keeps still, and in the very shady spots, she just takes hold of the bars and shakes them hard, and she is all the time trying to climb through. But nobody could climb through that pattern. It strangles so. I think that is why it has so many heads. They get through, and then the pattern strangles them off and turns them upside down and makes their eyes white. If those heads were covered or taken off, it would not be half so bad. I think that woman gets out in the daytime. And I'll tell you why, privately. I've seen her. I can see her out of every one of my windows. It is the same woman I know, for she is always creeping, and most women do not creep by daylight. I see her on that long shaded lane, creeping up and down. I see her in those dark grape arbours, creeping all around the garden. I see her on that long road under the trees, creeping along, and when a carriage comes, she hides under the blackberry vines. I don't blame her a bit. It must be very humiliating to be caught creeping by daylight. I always lock the door when I creep by daylight. I can't do it at night, for I know John would suspect something at once. And John is so queer now that I don't want to irritate him. I wish he would take another room. Besides, I don't want anybody to get that woman out at night but myself. I often wonder if I could see her out of all the windows at once. But turn as fast as I can only see her out of one at one time. And though I always see her, she may be able to creep faster than I can turn. I have watched her sometimes away off in the open country, creeping as fast as a cloud shadow in a high wind. If only that top pattern could be gotten off from the under one. I mean to try it little by little. I found out another funny thing, but I shan't tell it this time. It does not do to trust people too much. There are only 2 more days to get this paper off, and I believe John is beginning to notice. I don't like the look in his eyes. And I heard him ask Jenny a lot of professional questions about me. She had a very good report to give. She said I slept a good deal in the daytime. John knows I don't sleep very well at night, for all I'm so quiet. He asked me all sorts of questions too, and pretended to be very loving and kind, as if I couldn't see through him. Still, I don't wonder he acts so, sleeping under this paper for 3 months. It only interests me, but I feel sure John and Jenny are secretly affected by it. Hurrah, this is the last day, but it is enough. John is to stay in town overnight, and won't be out until this evening. Jenny wanted to sleep with me, the sly thing, but I told her I should undoubtedly rest better for a night all alone. That was clever, for really I wasn't alone a bit. As soon as it was moonlight and that poor thing began to crawl and shake the pattern, I got up and ran to help her. I pulled, and she shook. I shook, and she pulled, and before morning we had peeled off yards of that paper. A strip about as high as my head and half around the room. And then when the sun came and that awful pattern began to laugh at me, I declared I would finish it today. We go away tomorrow, and they are moving all my furniture down again to leave things as they were before. Jenny looked at the wall in amazement, but I told her merrily that I did it out of pure spite at the vicious thing. She laughed, and said she wouldn't mind doing it herself, but I must not get tired. How she betrayed herself that time. But I am here, and no person touches this paper but me. Not alive. She tried to get me out of the room. It was too patent, but I said it was so quiet and empty and clean now that I believed I would lie down again and sleep all I could, and not to wake me even for dinner. I would call when I woke. So now she is gone, and the servants are gone, and the things are gone, and there is nothing left but that great bedstead nailed down, with the canvas mattress we found on it. We shall sleep downstairs tonight and take the boat home tomorrow. I quite enjoy the room now it is bare again. How those children did tear about here. This bedstead is fairly gnawed. but I must get to work. I have locked the door and thrown the key down into the front path. I don't want to go out, and I don't want to have anybody come in till John comes. I want to astonish him. I've got a rope up here that even Jenny did not find. If that woman does get out and tries to get away, I can tie her. But I forgot I could not reach far without anything to stand on. This bed will not move. I tried to lift and push it until I was lame, and then I got so angry I bit off a little piece at one corner, but it hurt my teeth. Then I peeled off all the paper I could reach standing on the floor. It sticks horribly, and the pattern just enjoys it. All those strangled heads and bulbous eyes and waddling fungus growths just shriek with derision. I'm getting angry enough to do something desperate. To jump out of the window would be admirable exercise, but the bars are too strong even to try. Besides, I wouldn't do it. Of course not. I know well enough that a step like that is improper and might be misconstrued. I don't like to look out of the windows even. There are so many of those creeping women, and they creep so fast. I wonder if they all come out of the wallpaper, as I did. But I'm securely fastened now by my well-hidden rope. You don't get me out in the road there. I suppose I shall have to get back behind the pattern when it comes night, and that is hard. It is so pleasant to be out in this great room and creep around as I please. I don't want to go outside. I won't, even if Jenny asks me to. For outside you have to creep on the ground, and everything is green instead of yellow, but here I can creep smoothly on the floor, and my shoulder just fits in that long smooch around the wall so I cannot lose my way. Why, there's John at the door. It's no use, young man, you can't open it. How he does call and pound. Now he's crying for an axe. It would be a shame to break down that beautiful door. John, dear, said I in the gentlest voice. The key is down by the front steps, under a plantain leaf. That silenced him for a few moments. Then he said, very quietly indeed, Open the door, my darling. I can't, said I. The key is down by the front door, under a plantain leaf. And then I said it again, several times, very gently and slowly, and said it so often that he had to go and see. And he got it, of course, and came in. He stopped short by the door. What is the matter? He cried. For God's sake, what are you doing? I kept on creeping, just the same, but I looked at him over my shoulder. I've got out at last, said I, in spite of you and Jenny, and I've pulled off most of the paper so you can't put me back. Now, why should that man have fainted? But he did, and right across my path by the wall, so that I had to creep over him every time. And that's the end. That is the end. Wow, I bloody love that story. It is so creepy. Oh, it is so creepy. Oh, man. Oh, boy. Oh, I'm glad to have finished reading it, though. Oh, boy. Okay, right. I'm gonna tab over in a minute to the Just Giving page, but first, let's do just a little bit of Fran says, I have proper goosebumps. Lottie says, oh gosh, I love that. Charles Snow says, whoa. Okay. There's a few just... What this story does so amazingly is it just drops in something enormous, like an idea so huge and frightening, but it just drops it in so casually. It just throws it away. I want to pick a few examples. Obviously, the final line is very creepy. John has fainted, but he did, and right across my path by the wall, so that I had to creep over him every time. You can just see her, can't you? Just going round and around the room, along the ground with her shoulder kind of up against the wall, just creeping over him. This line, I don't like to look out of the windows even. There are so many of those creeping women and they creep so fast. I wonder if they all come out of that wallpaper as I did. Just Okay, that's new. That's a new idea. Okay, now you came out of the wallpaper. Okay, no, cool. Okay. Yep. Oh, it is. Oh, it is good. It is hecking good, folks. I love the tone. I love the changing tone. I love the... It's very frightening. Obviously, it's very creepy, but I find it weirdly enjoyable, the point at which she starts to manipulate Jenny and John, or at least lie to them. Obviously, she's... I guess she's kind of delusional, but this is the thing. Is she? This is something we should talk about. Is there a ghost? Is there a woman in the wallpaper? Yeah, the description. I think this is probably the most effective use in fiction of the word creep. Yes, this one. This is the bit. When I was reading this now, I got like proper chills, a proper sort of like shivery thing down my spine reading this. Here we go. I don't blame her a bit. It must be very humiliating to be caught creeping by daylight. I always lock the door when I creep by daylight. What is creeping by daylight? I feel like I have a very clear mental picture in my head of what creeping by daylight looks like, and it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. And the thing about like seeing the woman out of every window, but like you can always see her. But like, is it the same one? Does she still move? Does she like... Giacomo Montanari says, I don't think there's a ghost. The only monster is Victorian attitudes towards women's mental health. That is my reading too. Certainly. I'm sure it was written... I feel like it was probably written to be maybe a little ambiguous. I love the way that, to start with, I mean, creep is actually the key word of this whole story, I think, because that it feels like that's how the story gathers momentum, because to begin with, you're getting these increasingly detailed and like confusing descriptions of the wallpaper. It's like impossible geometry, which is very Lovecraft, actually, thinking about it. The way it's described is like, even to look upon it is to lose your mind, you know, and it like it doesn't make sense. The shapes are impossible, and like trying to like trace the pattern of this wallpaper. And I think that's relatable as well. Like I think we've all been in that situation where you're like just idly staring at a pattern and you're just trying to like follow it through, but if it's very complicated and you keep like losing track of it. Yeah, but the and then just slowly the idea of the woman is introduced, and it just gathers so much momentum. Like to begin with, it's like, I think there's a woman in the wallpaper, and then it's the woman gets out of the wallpaper and she creeps around, and then it's I came out of the wallpaper, and then it's I'm going to have to get into the wallpaper, and it just escalates and escalates and escalates. I think it's a really beautifully written story. It's by a country mile, I think, the best thing that we've the actual best sort of thing that we've read on these streams. Lindsay Langdon says, I'm 100% sitting in the middle of my bed away from the walls. Yeah. Yep. Angela Sanchez says that the stripe is described as being near the mopboard, which is low to the ground, so she must be crawling. The mental picture I have in my head of that at the end, with her like shoulder in the groove of like the kind of gap in the wall, is like really low down on the ground, and that's why John is so startled when he comes in. All the wallpaper's gone, and I'm imagining also, because of the way it's described, that while creeping, she looks at John over her shoulder. I do picture a kind of The Ring style, like kind of sort of not quite anatomically possible, like position to be created. It really, really escalates. Yeah. Aoife Wilson, hey Aoife, in the chat says, love a good creep. Who doesn't like to creep by daylight? Just do a little bit of creeping, you know? Like, hey, it's a beautiful night. It's going to creep around the room. Creepy. Okay, thank you so much, everyone, for bearing with the story, for sticking with it. I think it's so good. I hope I did it even a tiny bit of justice. I would absolutely recommend, if you enjoyed this, then just read it yourself. You can get through it in like maybe 20 minutes, and like it will hit different. It will definitely hit different when you read it for yourself, because like a lot of these very sort of creepy, horrifying sentences will your reading brain will just hear them in a different way to the way that I read them, and will probably twist everything to be as frightening as possible. Okay, I am now going to tab over to the Just Giving page, and I'm going to see where we're at. Last time I refreshed this page, I can't remember where we were. We were. Here we go. What are we at? Oh my god. Okay. I can't believe it. We've broken 10k and then some. 10,569 pounds. That's incredible. Okay, let's read some of these messages. I'm really enjoying reading them. John Burnham has donated £250 to Mind. John Burnham, that's so generous, says thanks for a great tale and for being the nucleus that brought this community together. Thank you, John. Matthias Amno, thank you for your donation. Jack, brackets, Oxgifts. Hey, Jack, says thank you for all your faces. Hashtag Oxgifts. Oh, yeah. I do like some Oxgifts. They're good. Who knew? My colleagues have such gifable faces. Royce LeBlanc says, who could have known that something that started out with a chill lo-fi music stream would grow into raising a staggering amount for a good cause and making spicy sad friends for life? Royce LeBlanc, I certainly would not have pictured that. Again, I feel like I've said it many, many times, but I set the initial, I set the target for this stream as £250. You have blown me away. You regularly do. This is not the first. This is I should get more used to this community exceeding all possible expectations and then doubling that. But wow, oh my god. Bruce Easton says, oh, thank you for donating, Bruce Easton. They say, I lost my mum to cancer last month, and Oxboxtra has really helped keep my head up. Bruce Easton, I'm so sorry. That sounds unbelievably hard. What a difficult time. I'm so sorry. I'm glad that the videos help in some small way, and thank you so much for your donation. Kirsten and Janine says, just keep on being how and who you are. You brought us so much joy and scares. Not many people could receive that compliment in earnest. You brought us so much joy and scares. But yeah, thank you, Kirsten and Janine. That's really nice of you. Anna, donating again, says, when I was 17, adults told me I couldn't be depressed because I was too young to have, quote, real problems. I wouldn't be alive today if I had listened to them instead of getting help. Awareness is important. Anna, I'm so glad that you did get help. I'm so glad that you didn't listen to that bad advice. And thank you for your donation, and hope you're doing well. Elena B, thank you so much. Jane Smith has had to donate for such an amazing cause. Thank you, Luke, and everyone who's been able to donate. Jackie says, thanks for everything you do, for everything this year and having such an awesome YouTube community. You give us all hope and joy in an otherwise horrifying year. I hope this small contribution to a worthy cause helps. Annika Brock, thank you for your donation. Brandon, who says, mental health is a huge issue for a lot of people, even more so this year. Thank you for supporting a good cause. Oh my goodness, here's an anonymous donation for £450. That is amazing. Thank you, Anonymous, who says, thank you. Thank you. Anonymous, right back at you. Philip Ratkovich says, I'm really pushing my budget at this point. Don't push it anymore, Philip Ratkovich. Thank you, you've been so generous. But got to point out that the Spicy Sad Squad has a Discord server. Come and join us. And I just want to say this is the happiest I've been the whole year. Love you all. Oh, man. That's lovely. Philip, thank you so much. Anja, thank you. £50 donation. That's so kind. Can you hear my voice is starting to go? Ruler of Flapjack says, I was supposed to see my new therapist in April, only for them to stop taking new patients. The only available therapy appointment I could get with a different therapist is for November. I hope this can help. Thank you, Ruler of Flapjacks. It definitely will help. And even though it's a different therapist and you have to wait, I really hope that appointment is eases things up a little. I think there's a good chance it will, and I wish you all the best. Anonymous, thank you so much for £50 donation. Oh my gosh. Debbie who? There's a question mark there. Says, I absolutely adore this entire community. So supportive. And Claire T-Rex, thank you very much for your donation. Says, a little bit extra because I remembered the Horse of the Invisible. And I'm going to be laughing about that for the rest of my life. And laughter is brilliant. If you, well, let me say this. If this is the first one of these streams that you have watched, then absolutely don't make the next one you watch the Horse of the Invisible. Make that the last one you watch. Try and get your feet under the table with some other stuff. And then do Horse of the Invisible because it's bonkers. The Beast with what was it? The Beast, is it the Beast with 5 fingers? If this is the first one you've watched and you want to see another Gothic ghost story, search on this channel for the Beast with 5 fingers. That is a fun one. I think that's the one that I generally recommend. Start with that. But yeah, there's some good. There's some we've read some brilliant stuff on here. And subscribe. Why not? If you are coming across this channel for the first time, yeah, why not? Why not hit subscribe so you get notified next time we read something, or next time we stream something, or do whatever it is. The next thing we do, it'll be chill. That's the only editorial promise of this channel, is all the things will be generally chill, I hope. Kate Timms, thank you so much for your donation. Anthony Dunn says, I hope you hit the 10k. I love this and the channel. This is the last donation I can afford. You should feel so proud. Your talent and the great support of this community have made such a difference. Anthony Dunn, thank you so much. That is so generous. That is so kind and generous of you, and yeah, I think you can feel very, very good about those donations. But yes, absolutely, you don't need to donate anymore. Thank you, Anthony Dunn. Thank you everyone. I can't believe how many people are donating more than once. It's wild. We're raising a lot of money for a really wonderful cause. Everyone should feel very good about themselves. Otang says, as people have said, mental health support is so vital now more than ever. Much love to Oxboxtra and the genuinely amazing community you've cultivated. Thank you. Thank you, Otang. And thanks for putting in brackets, Otang, how that should be pronounced. Alexander Slowakow says, a small contribution to a great cause. Thank you so much. Thank you, Anonymous, £20. Wow. Dan Gerard says, won't be able to catch the stream live, but had to contribute to a great cause. Let's keep smashing goals. Nikki Sordy says, smash it, Luke. A donation for £20 from 2 people who couldn't because reasons. Oh, thank you for the donation. Red Pen Chick, £100. That's so kind. Thank you. And Emma B, £100 Red Pen Chick. Gosh, thank you. Emma B says, thank you, Luke, for everything that you and the Oxbox crew have done. I've been dealing with depression and social anxiety for over 10 years now, and mine have been invaluable. I'm so glad to hear it. I'm really glad to hear it. And Hannah Axelson says, this is an additional donation in memory of the Horse of the Invisible stream, which was my first. Let's pony up some money and gallop ahead of that donation goal. Hannah Axelson, I can't believe that you stayed with the streams after the Horse of the Invisible. If that was your first one, I thought we really, really probably pushed a lot of people away with that one. Kurt Conway says, love from Spicy Sad Squad. £100. Thank you, Kurt Conway. That's so nice. Mojo says, thank you for all you do, Luke. Arsaray says, just a tiny bit more for those in the chat that can't donate for various reasons. Please do not feel bad about it. This is a hard year for everyone, and we're all just happy you're here. Yeah, couldn't have said it better. Thank you, Arsaray. Luke Easterway says, thank you for all the amazing streams over the year, and happy belated 4th birthday to Outside Extra. Well, if Ellen is still in the chat, still watching, then, yeah. Happy birthday to us, Ellen. Alyssa says, I was 19 when I finally got sent to a psychiatrist who would treat me after years of talking to therapists. I'm 32 now and wish I could hug my former self and tell her that she will make it through. Alyssa, that is such a beautifully written comment. Thank you very much for your donation. Yeah, it's a shame that we can't go and hug our former selves in the past, but I think it's really quite something to arrive at the point where you feel like you want to and you have some clarity on why and those ideas. So that's the thing, Alyssa, I would focus on. But thank you very much for your donation. Fernanda Vieira says, can't help with much, but I want to make part of it. Well, you did, Fernanda Vieira. Thank you. Jason Bunkosuke says, just shows what a great cause and supportive community can do together. Oh my gosh. This is wild. Freya Hannah says, your channels have helped me so much through this absolutely terrible year. You bring such joy and happiness in times of darkness. Thanks to everyone. Here's to 10k. Well, we absolutely smashed it. We breezed past that 10k mark. Aoife Wilson, bless you. A very, very generous £50 donation there. And Aoife says, for the creeps. A little heart emoji. Thanks, Aoife. That is so good of you. Okay. Thank you, Anonymous. Who writes, thank you. And the wonderful community for restoring my faith in humanity over and over again. Right, you can probably hear that my voice is right on the brink of literally giving out. We are really close to 11k, which is just so wild. I can't believe... I just can't believe it. I knew this was a really kind and generous community, and I knew there would be a lot of you who would want to donate, but I cannot believe where we're at. Like I said, I'm not going to raise the target anymore because £10,000, that is enough. And I definitely don't want to get into a position where people feel like they have to like keep giving more to hit a goal, because like, I mean, the concept of like goals and targets, these are now just words. It is dust. So thoroughly eviscerated have all the targets been. You all absolutely smashed it. So yeah, I will keep that at the £10,000 goal. We're at 108%, which I like. Nimble Tack says, is this better than the time you caught that stringfish? Well, I mean, that's a very big claim. I would have to watch the footage back of when I caught the stringfish. You know what? I want to say that this just edges it, but I might have to go back and check, because you remember when I caught that stringfish, it was a pretty special moment. I mean, better than that? I don't know. Maybe. I mean, obviously, yes, definitely. But that stringfish, my God. Do you remember when I caught that stringfish? There's a read a few more comments. Christian Siska says, phew, almost missed it. Oh, thank you, Christian Siska. Thank you so much. Philip Ratkovich, back again. I'll push my budget more. I don't listen to advice from a guy who expected only £250. Okay, well, that's fair, Philip. Thank you very much again for your continued donations. David Badalotti says, thank you, Luke, for all you do for us and for this great cause. David Badalotti, that's such a generous donation. $250. Wow. £30 from... £30 from someone whose username is Horse of the Invisible, and they say, I'm sorry. Well, I'm not sorry, Horse of the Invisible. Oh my God. I kind of want to drop spoilers for Horse of the Invisible, but I'm aware. You know what? Like, if you haven't watched it, go watch that stream, because, or you know, or don't. The story is rubbish. The story is rubbish. But I really did properly lose it reading it, so you know, if that's something that interests you. Gabby says, a great cause that is more important than ever. Thank you, Gabby. I completely agree. Okay, folks, you can probably hear I actually am at risk of losing my voice, and I will need my voice a little bit tomorrow and, you know, like going forward in my life. So I think we're gonna call it there. Thank you so much. This has been I will never forget this. This was bloody brilliant. You're all bloody brilliant. You're all legends. You're all breathtaking, and you know it. You champs. Right. Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks for sticking around. I hope you enjoyed the Yellow Wallpaper. I know I did. Thank you so much for donating. The page is still there if you do want to like keep going, but my God, I mean, they're smashing it, and then there's and then they're smashing it, and we smashed it. Robin S says, thank you, Luke, for keeping me sane. Hope this can help others. Robin S, it definitely will. And Anonymous says, going to leave my name off this, but I almost wasn't here anymore 4 years, 2 weeks and 2 days ago. Real proud of you and all the Spicy Sad Squad for helping people out of that place. Anonymous, that is, we're all glad you're here, and thank you for that donation, £50. That's super, super generous. Thank you. Okay, right. All right, okay. Throat closing up must end with dramatic laugh. Thank you very much, everyone. This was great. You're all great. You bloody legends. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time. Goodbye.